Rain lashed against the old weathered walls. Thunder roared, shaking the very foundation of the ancient structure. The storm was relentless, a force of nature that seemed almost sentient in its fury. Each drop of rain was like a tiny hammer, pounding against the stone, trying to break it down. The wind howled, a mournful wail that echoed through the empty halls, as if the building itself was crying out in pain. Lightning illuminated a crumbling structure, solitary and forgotten. The brief flashes of light revealed the extent of the decay, the walls cracked and crumbling, the roof sagging under the weight of years of neglect. It stood alone, a monument to a time long past, its purpose forgotten by all but the storm that now raged around it. It was a shelter, half hidden by overgrown ivy and shrouded in darkness. The ivy clung to the walls like a living shroud, its tendrils creeping into every crack and crevice. In the darkness, the building seemed almost alive, a sleeping giant waiting to be awakened by the storm. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves, a reminder of the relentless march of time. Its windows, like vacant eyes, stared out into the storm-ravaged night. The glass was long gone, shattered by years of neglect and the relentless assault of the elements. The empty frames gaped like open wounds, a stark reminder of the building's abandonment. Through the windows the storm raged on, a chaotic dance of wind and rain that seemed to mock the building's once proud stature. The wind howled through the trees, their branches twisting and turning like tormented souls. The trees bent under the force of the wind, their leaves torn away and scattered like confetti. The sound was deafening, a cacophony of creaking wood and rustling leaves that filled the air with a sense of impending doom. It was as if the very forest was alive, writhing in agony as the storm tore through it. A rusted sign creaked above the door, its lettering barely visible. Eden's Rest. The sign swung back and forth in the wind, its hinges groaning in protest. The name was a cruel irony, a reminder of a time when this place was a haven, a sanctuary from the world outside. Now it was anything but restful, a place of desolation and decay, haunted by the ghosts of its past. But there was no rest to be found here, only the unsettling presence of a long-forgotten secret. The air was thick with a sense of foreboding, a feeling that something terrible had happened here, something that had left its mark on the very fabric of the building. The storm raged on, a relentless force that seemed determined to uncover the secrets hidden within the walls of Eden's Rest. The storm raged on as a lone figure stumbled through the downpour. Daniel, lost and drenched to the bone, saw the faint outline of the shelter in the distance. Seeking refuge, he approached cautiously. He pushed open the creaking door and stepped inside. The air was heavy with the smell of damp earth and decay. A single flickering candle cast long dancing shadows on the walls, revealing a dusty interior frozen in time. Daniel explored the dusty rooms, each one filled with the remnants of forgotten lives. The air was thick with dust, and every step he took echoed through the empty halls. It was as if the walls themselves were whispering secrets of the past, stories long forgotten, but still lingering in the shadows. A child's doll lay abandoned on a chair, its porcelain face cracked and staring. The doll seemed to watch him, its eyes following his every move. It was a haunting reminder of the children who once played here, their laughter now replaced by an eerie silence. He found a faded photograph of a smiling family, their happiness a stark contrast to the desolation surrounding him. The photograph was worn and yellowed with age, but the joy in their faces was unmistakable. Who were they? What had happened to them? These questions swirled in Daniel's mind as he continued his exploration. As the wind howled outside, he thought he heard voices whispering his name. The sound was faint, almost imperceptible, but it sent a chill down his spine. He paused, straining to hear more, but the whispers faded into the wind. Was it just his imagination, or was there something more to this place? He dismissed it as a trick of the wind, but a shiver ran down his spine. The feeling of being watched was overwhelming, and he couldn't shake the sense of unease that had settled over him. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of the wind seemed to carry a hidden meaning. What had happened to the people who sought refuge in this place? The question lingered in his mind as he wandered through the empty rooms. Each corner held a piece of the puzzle, but the full picture remained elusive. The shelter was a silent witness to the lives that had passed through it, each one leaving behind a whisper of their story. Section 4. Secrets in the Shadows. In a room at the back, he discovered a hidden compartment behind a bookshelf. Inside, a leather-bound diary lay hidden. Its pages, brittle with age, contained the frantic scribblings of a woman named Eliza. Eliza's words spoke of fear, of a threat lurking in the shadows. She wrote of strange occurrences, of disappearances and whispered warnings. With each page, the mystery of Eden's Rest deepened, pulling Daniel into its web. Section 5. The truth unfolds. Eliza's diary revealed a chilling truth. The shelter was not a sanctuary, but a prison. Years ago, a group of people sought refuge from a raging pandemic. They sealed themselves inside, hoping to escape the deadly disease. But the disease had found its way in, spreading like wildfire. One by one, they succumbed to the illness. Eliza, the last survivor, documented the horrors she witnessed, her words heavy with fear and despair. Section 6. A shocking revelation. As Daniel absorbed the horrifying details, he realized something even more sinister. Eliza's diary ended abruptly, leaving her fate unknown. But a single line scribbled on the last page sent chills down his spine. He promised me safety, but he is the danger. Who was he? Daniel's mind raced, piecing together the clues. The shelter's name, Eden's Rest, suddenly took on a chilling new meaning. Was it a place of peace or a place of betrayal? Section 7. Left in the dark. In the heart of the night, when shadows danced with the flickering candlelight, Daniel found himself engulfed in a storm both outside and within. The storm raged on, mirroring the turmoil in Daniel's mind. The wind howled like a chorus of lost souls, and the rain pounded against the windows, each drop a reminder of the chaos that had taken over his life. He had stumbled upon a truth too terrible to comprehend. It was as if the very fabric of his reality had been torn apart, leaving him grasping at the frayed edges of his sanity. The revelation had hit him like a tidal wave, overwhelming and relentless. As he turned to leave, a cold hand clasped his shoulder. The touch was icy, sending a shiver down his spine. It was a grip that spoke of possession, of a force that would not let him go. A raspy voice whispered in his ear, "Welcome to Eden's Rest, Daniel. You're not leaving." The words were like a curse, binding him to this forsaken place. The voice was ancient, filled with a malevolent glee that made his blood run cold. Daniel spun around, but there was no one there. The room was empty, save for the shadows that seemed to mock his fear. His heart pounded in his chest, each beat a drum of desperation, only the flickering candlelight and the echo of the voice, leaving him trapped in the shelter, alone with the secrets of the past. The candle's flame wavered, casting eerie shapes on the walls, as if the very darkness was alive and watching him. Eden's Rest had claimed another soul. The shelter, once a place of refuge, had become a prison. The air was thick with the weight of untold stories, and Daniel knew that he was now a part of its dark history. The storm outside was nothing compared to the storm within.